I believed what they told me, and I'm suffering because of it.
Kevin Albert of Bremerton is suffering from anxiety, depression, larynx and vocal cord dysfunction, as well as lung disease.
Scary. There's days when I can breathe okay, but then there's days that are horrible. Just cold air can trigger. And this is for chest pains. This is also for anxiety.
Once healthy and active, Albert's doctors say they know exactly why he now takes a long list of medications to make it through the day.
For anxiety, depression.
Working here at the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard, he says, unbeknownst to him, he was routinely exposed to cancer-causing, nerve and organ-damaging toxins.
Do you feel like they lied to you?
Absolutely.
Through World War I and II, the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard served a pivotal role keeping the country battle-ready. It's the biggest shipyard on the West Coast, where now thousands of civilians working for the Navy overhaul, repair, and decommission ships and subs. And keeping those sea vessels ship-shape is a dirty business. Every day, their industrial processes generate thousands of gallons of poisons, including hexavalent chromium, a known carcinogen, lead, mercury, PCBs, chlorine, and lots of cyanide.
It's what they would use in a gas chamber. I mean, this stuff will kill you immediately.
So in 2006, the Navy unveiled a brand new wastewater treatment facility on the site to clean up all that hazardous waste.
I was the lead operator going into the new plant.
Technicians like Joe Giordano geared up for what the Navy hailed as a state-of-the-art plant.
Coming from the old plant, we thought we'd go into this new plant and everything would be updated, upgraded, work great.
The King 5 investigators have found that's not how it worked out. Inside the $9 million building looked shiny and new, but it was plagued with problems that made it dangerous. Chlorine gas alarms weren't installed. Cyanide gas alarms didn't work. Ventilation systems to draw toxins out of the air didn't work either. Giant holding tanks with hazardous waste overflowed and spilled. And the pipes transferring those toxins leaked over and over. The place was a mess.
Exposure to a lot of these different chemicals, can result in death.
Victoria Whitney has a doctorate in environmental engineering. It was her job to assess worker concerns before the plant opened. She submitted a list of 43 problems to her supervisor.
Was it clear in your mind that this shop had some serious problems?
Yes.
That could lead to people getting sick?
Yes.
Despite warnings about tanks and pipes and worker concerns, the Navy opened the shop anyway, with assurances from the higher-ups.
So you were told, you're safe, trust us, you're fine.
Continually.
Out at the shipyard, Navy public affairs specialists say King 5 has it all wrong. They wouldn't do an interview, but submitted answers to written questions, saying the facility is and always has been safe. There's no evidence anyone's gotten sick, and employees were not exposed to chemicals above OSHA limits.
How could the Navy tell us that? We've poured over hundreds of their own internal documents, detailed Navy investigations that spell it out. The plant wasn't safe. Systems were broken, and employees were exposed to horrible poisons well above the OSHA limits.
A shipyard report in 2013 found chronic equipment failures at the plant led to unsafe operations. The ventilation system wasn't adequate to get gases out of employee breathing zones. And there had been multiple occasions where chlorine levels exceeded safe limits.
Nobody should have been shocked. I warned them. Right. I wrote a white paper that spelled things out that said, these need to be addressed.
Other documents show workers exposed to chlorine at extremely unsafe levels. In this case, 9 times what is considered immediately harmful or deadly. And here, cyanide measured at more than double the acceptable limit.
Everything was breaking down, and they still wanted us to process. What were we to do?
The Navy finally shut down the plant 7 years after it opened. A newly promoted supervisor demanded experts come in to test the air during routine work hours. That supervisor, Kevin Albert.
So that was the key moment.
Absolutely.
During the testing, the poison levels measured so off the charts, employees had to evacuate the plant 5 times in 5 days. That was in 2013, after 7 years of complaints and cleaning waste like cyanide water without the precautions to keep people safe.
At this point, was it kind of too late?
It was too late. We were already exposed, and then we'd already been having the issues, and they let it to continue. That's the part where I am appalled, and I don't understand how this could happen in our country.
Kevin Albert there hasn't worked at the shipyard for a year and a half because the chemicals used across the complex just make his breathing problems that much worse. He's too sick to work there. He's hired a lawyer and is pursuing his legal options. Since the plant shut down in 2013, the Navy has made $2 million in improvements, and they are now processing all the different waste streams again there, and we have to assume it is now safe. This series is not over by any means. One of our next stories, we're going to look at how the managers weren't totally forthcoming about the problems and about what they knew when OSHA came to investigate.